Hello and welcome to another Bespin Global webinar. Today we're going to be discussing how customers can use the AWS Well-Architected framework to build secure, resilient, high-performing and efficient infrastructure. With us today to discuss how we can do this is some members of our team. To start with, we have Mouteih Chaghlil, our CEO at Bespin Global MEA.
Thank you, Karen.
And we also have Hamza Chaghlil, our technical account manager.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
And finally, we have Wael Al-Araj, our operations manager.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to be here there.
To start the conversation, why don't we talk about the current state of adoption of cloud in the Middle East?
Absolutely. So, if you look at the cloud, services and the cloud maturity, 10 years compared to now, far more services has been introduced, covering not only infrastructure, but also machine learning, big data. We're talking today about 5G edge, all of those services. And, the startups, SMBs, enterprises have been adopting cloud for a while now, but we see more and more from the highly regulated, sectors like government, semi-government, education, banking, all going into the cloud also. So cloud adoption is ramping up very quickly, and the pandemic just, made that even quicker because now most of the services should be available digitally. People are relying on the cloud, whether that's to attend their classrooms or for their business meetings or serving their customers through e-commerce and digital services. Gartner estimates the public cloud market around $3 billion in the Middle East. So that's a massive number. More and more businesses and industries are going into the cloud. So we see a big growth in that. Also, the major public cloud providers are establishing regions in the Middle East, and more is to be announced.
Right. So I think it's pretty vital that customers start moving into the cloud as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. And whatever we're seeing that now today is just scratching the surface of the iceberg.
Right.
There is a ton of things that still, to be introduced and worked on.
Sure. So while I think moving into the cloud brings about some challenges though, right?
The common challenges of businesses adopting into the public cloud are achieving a significant cost saving, finding cloud resources, maintaining the control and the security of the data, and of course, fixing the lack of the centralized governance.
Right. So how are we as Bespin helping customers overcome these?
Yeah, so it's not about technologies only. It's about, when you need to go to the cloud, you need PPT, philosophy, process, tools. So cloud is the tool of how do you go there. But again, this requires a full culture change within the organization. You need to adapt your processes. I'll give you an example. You used to buy hardware for your on-prem with a 3 years, CapEx spending. Now with cloud, you are going to a pay-as-you-go module. You need your processes to adapt to that. So we help our customers, building that, evaluating the architectures, the best designs, the best, deployment methods or migration methods. And then the more important is how do you operate that going on? Because it's not just like I shifted my workloads to the cloud and there, it's done. It is a continuous type of engagement with our customers. Yes.
Right. And I guess there are best practices that we can follow to try and make that happen as easily as possible for our customers.
Yes, absolutely. Our colleagues in AWS, the solution architects, consolidated their years of experience building systems for thousands of customers and involving all business verticals and use cases, and as defined as the best practices in architecting systems on the cloud, the well-architected framework.
Right. What for non-technical people would you say? How would you describe the well-architected framework?
So well-architected framework is, let's say, it gives you the steps or a clear path on how to ensure workloads on the cloud satisfy your business and technical needs while ensuring costs are in control. Because one of the main drivers around adapting cloud is the cost saving and the cost characteristics around the cloud. Yeah, so adapting that framework will ensure you satisfy all of those.
Right. So I mean, it kind of sounds like there's a lot involved in implementing this.
Yeah, so it's AWS built it around 5 pillars. Okay, so the definition says if I want to evaluate my workload on the cloud, I need to look into it from 5 main pillars. We start with security. Again, security is day zero job. Then we've got reliability, performance, operational excellence, and then cost. Uh, let's say for a workload to ensure that it is in its best shape, you need to satisfy those pillars. Some pillars might uh, become more important in certain situations. That's why well-architected is not a straightforward binary type of engagement. It's not black or white. It depends more on your workload. Just to give you an example of that, a startup is building their, let's say, their digital service or e-commerce website. They're more concerned about cost than being concerned about performance because of the smaller number of users. They're still testing the grounds and so on. Let's go to the other side, aviation, for example, which now they're a little bit cool in the pandemic, but things will change once this is over, and your online boarding service should be up and running. Your fares, your tickets, all of that should be highly reliable and performing well, because not only your customers rely on it, also third-party solutions to build their offerings and so on. So if you look at it from a perspective of startup, cost might be a more concern, while for bigger enterprises, highly adapted services, it might be performance. And this is where we help our customers to balance that.
Yes. So this is what I was going to touch on. Like taking one of those large enterprises or a startup, how do either of them know if they're doing things correctly, building their infrastructure in the most efficient, high-performing way? How does a customer do that?
We, as a certified AWS well-architected partner, we will come and conduct what is known as well-architected review.
Right.
It compromises business session for cross-section of key stakeholder who and sometimes doesn't sit together discussing the effect of the cloud on their businesses. For sure, that these sessions will involve everyone from operation team, infrastructure, product, finance, and all other parties in the company.
Right. So well-architected reviews, I think, is something that helps us do that. We've done this for some of our customers. How has it helped with our customers?
Actually, Karen, in terms of security pillars, the most cases that we work with our customers that for our customers how should use AWS services like AWS config, access analyzer with IAM to control and restrict this privilege. For example, talking in incident response, that they have a playbook to deploy for this incident, how much time it will take to respond to this incident, and
Who should be involved?
Monitoring and all of that
exactly.
stuff. And what about the other pillars? So security is clearly is probably the main pillar. What about the other five? One of the other five.
In addition to the security, there is another major pillar, which is operation excellence. And I can tell you some findings we found during our well-architected reviews with our customers. I can see in most cases that the automation is not there. The centralized configuration management is not there. And the most important thing also is the lack of automated testing and feedback. So we will go into that customer, give an improvement plan, including some best practices to control the code quality, branching, merging, how to comment the issues, and all other code repository stuff, in addition to some plans to build a full pipeline, contain all of the staging by involving many environments instead of going into the production and trying to deploy the code, have some issue where your online system will be affected, having multiple environments where you start leveraging the new code over maybe the testing, staging, and then production, and then start build on top of that, adding chunks into that pipeline like integration testing, security testing, some unit testing to validate the logic of the code, and then for sure how to remediate any issue that will be happening during that deployment.
Because we all know engineers, we love to overcomplicate stuff. So yes, the website is up, but how do I do a certain operation or do a certain remediation, something from what Wael was mentioning. Sometimes it is there, but it's far more complicated, far more, let's say, untuned, unpolished. And this is where Well-Architected dives deep into those topics and say, are you doing this? And if you're doing it, is this the correct way to do it? Just to touch back again on Wael's point, if your operational excellence is not well tuned, it will also affect the other part of reliability. Similar to how security, affect operational excellence, they're all, connected. Back to Wael's point, if I'm doing everything manual, if I am, deploying my infrastructure by clicking and logging into servers and running certain commands, okay, so how does my DR process look like? If something goes wrong and I want a new, fresh environment that can start serving my customers, if it's all in the brains or let's say in the chats of that technical team, it will take me maybe days to roll back. So here I'm affecting my RTO, and if I don't have the proper maybe synchronization or copying, that's affecting my RPO. While in a finely tuned operational excellence practice, my reliability increase because if I'm deploying my infrastructure using code, I have the best practices, I have my monitoring aligned, all of that. The reliability of my website will increase.
So yeah, I think it's pretty clear that there are huge benefits to following Well-Architected. I think automation is clearly a big one. Any other massive benefits that you think that clients could benefit from using Well-Architected specifically?
So first of all, it gives you the confidence that this is how you should think about stuff. And also, other than security, operational excellence, and reliability, you've got performance. And the last one will be cost. We all love the pay-as-you-go model of the cloud. But again, if you don't have the proper controls and the proper monitors, you might, be surprised with 2 or 3 times whatever you budgeted because, someone forgot to fine-tune the auto-scaling, or we didn't set certain limits on deploying certain resources, all of that stuff. So that also is covered within the Well-Architected review.
Right. So it's clear that if customers don't actually follow the Well-Architected framework and adhere to the guidelines that it says, what are the risks that customers could face, do you think, if they don't use it?
So risks, I think we can think about. So maybe security breaches, downtime that you cannot remediate quickly, costs that you didn't budget for, also sprawling of resources. You don't know what is running on what and who is using this, and when do I need to change stuff. So even if you look at all of those, it also affects the business. If my site is down, my brand reputation is down, my revenues are down, third party that are relying on me and my services are now, switching to other providers. So it has effects on both technical and business equally.
Right. So I think from the client's perspective, it's pretty vital that they follow the framework as much as possible. But for us as a certified partner with AWS, how do we benefit from providing these?
So we're obsessed about serving our customers in the best way, and Well-Architected, being developed by AWS, maintained by AWS, it gives us the confidence to us and the customers that this is the right framework to follow to ensure that we are well architected. And frankly speaking, we're using it today even when we're onboarding new clients or we're engaging with new clients. With our new clients, especially in the managed services engagement, you're taking the responsibility of that whole environment, and you don't know the full history sometimes of how that was built, who took those decisions, why we were using certain resources. So Well Architected gives us a framework for that, handover of responsibilities and environment, and also shows the customer, for the next 6 to maybe 6 months to 12 months, what needs to be resolved, what needs to be worked on. The other part, when we're engaging with new clients, we show them areas of where they can improve that their solution or their usage for AWS, and it opens new doors and discussions on how we can help. The third thing is Bespin Global being a public cloud professional services and managed services partner. We developed our own internal tool called OpsNow. OpsNow comes with a lot of modules, but one of the main major modules is the cost and asset management. Cost will give you insights not only to a certain AWS account, but all of your accounts, forecasts, places to optimize your spending. And the asset management also gives you visibility on what is being deployed, who deployed it, and to which workload it relates. So it helps our customers solve parts of the well-architected review.
Right, right. So I think it's something that should be looked at ongoing. It's not just a once-off type thing people should follow. So if somebody watching at the moment wants to get in touch with us to find out more about the well-architected, how would they do that?
So the info will be in the video description, but you can reach us out on our website. Also email info@bespinglobal.ae. If you're in the UAE, you can call us on our toll-free number 800 Bespin, and please reach out to us on LinkedIn. Connect with us. We'd love to hear your feedback. Even we'd love to hear from our audience if there is any subject they would love us to dive deeper in or cover in our next webinars.
Great, great. Does anybody have anything final to add?
Thank you, Karen, and thanks everyone. We encourage our customers to do the Well Architect because it's really crucial and critical, and it will help them to adapt and use the best practice for AWS.
Great, great. So thank you to all of our participants for joining us today. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule.
Thanks, Kieran.
And thanks to everybody who's joining us at home today or at work, wherever you are. We hope it was enjoyable, and we look forward to seeing you in a future webinar. Goodbye.